Senator Welch.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you. I congratulate you on your years of service and your qualifications to go from where you started to where you hope to be. I want to ask about the discretionary part of your job. You've got a big responsibility, obviously, to have the border secure, criminals to be deported. But there's also an element where the overreach in the power of prosecution, the power of law enforcement, as you know better than anyone, is immense, can have some harmful consequences. We've got folks working on dairy farms, and we just had one of our most prominent dairy farms. There was an incident there. That farm, by the way, has extremely good relations with the CBP folks. These farmers understand the importance of the job. But there was apparently an anonymous tip about somebody with a backpack. It led to 8 farm workers being arrested. They're now in detention. We've got to milk our cows. We've got to have access to labor. None of these folks have any criminal record. And really, this is a question about priorities. I'm all with my colleagues here on securing the border. I'm all with my colleagues on deporting criminals. But my goodness, we need farm workers. And how are you going to balance the aggressive efforts of the Trump administration on the border and make distinctions between where you best can act in order to protect the public and not harm agriculture?
So thank you. So Customs and Border Protection's role is a little bit unique in that we're focused on the interdiction aspect. So we're focused on people coming into the United States illegally at the borders or an international border. We're not doing the interior enforcement aspects. But I will highlight that I don't support asking law enforcement officers to not enforce the law that's in front of them. And that's kind of the challenge. I like highlighting the fact that we have a visa process now where it may not be the easiest on the planet, but it's not as hard for employers to actually get guest workers to come in. Not guest worker, but an
HB1. This farm did that, but there's always a dispute and there's always a suspicion. I mean, these people. I spoke to the farmer. None of them have any criminal records. They're all valued members of the community. And by the way, the economy. This is Franklin County in northern Vermont. Is really benefited, obviously, by the wages that are paid, by the money that's spent, and by maintaining these farms. I mean, these are real-world consequences for real people in Vermont, and I suspect real people in many other states, especially along the northern border.
If confirmed as commissioner, I'll ensure that we enforce all of the laws that CBP enforces, immigration and customs, with humanity and respect, and work with the communities. But I can't apologize for actually enforcing the laws that Congress enacted and put on the books and asked us to enforce.
I'm not asking you to apologize, and you do have a point, because it's on Congress that we don't have a sensible policy on ag workers. That is on us. But you know what? We've got to do something about it. This is horrible what just happened to this farm. Really terrible. And these are all good people that are working there. And they've been separated from their families. Land ports of entry in Vermont. We have a library that literally, you know about this, is on between the border, between Canada and in Vermont. And this is one of the challenges you face. Canadians come in the back door, which is on the Canadian side, and Vermonters go in the front door, which is on the Vermont side. And now we're getting hassled about being able to maintain something that has served that community for 120 years. So I get it that you got to, quote, enforce the law, but is it a real issue about Canadians coming into the Canadian side of Vermont Library to get a book?
So I'm somewhat familiar with that library. I have not visited, but I've heard the challenges in both perspectives: the community, the history, the interaction, and then how, like many times when we unintentionally create a vulnerability, how criminal elements will exploit it.
Yeah, but there's no criminal elements going to the Haskell Library to check out a book.
Well, they go in there, but it's not to check out a book. I would agree. But my commitment to you is, if confirmed, I will sit down and talk through issues like that. That we're not going to make
No,
decisions in a vacuum.
I appreciate that. And also, my time is up, but just we have land ports of entry. We've got to get the hours extended. I mean, this is really important for northern border states, Vermont, very much, where we've had a lot of back and forth history, good relations. And I get it, you got to enforce the law, but on the other hand, I hope you can find a way to be really respectful of the long-term traditions that have been very beneficial for Vermonters and Canadians.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Senator